Alright, this video I'm going to be going over my lightning trap assassin. It's another one of my favorite classes and builds to play specifically for magic finding. Like I always say, there's not much left to do. You can just continuously level up characters, try out experimental builds, but after you play the game as long as I have, whenever you do log in, you're pretty much doing magic find runs, key runs, and hoping high runes drop and get some torches. Overall, the lightning trap sin is you gear her up like you would a lightning sorceress. If it's not an exact replica, it's very similar. The biggest difference, I guess, you do want to hit a breakpoint for faster cast rate for teleportation, but when it comes to your main ability, your traps, that is affected by attack speed. So some people stack attack speed, some people do different things. I like to teleport fast, so I'm trying to go after the 111 faster cast rate breakpoint. I think the next breakpoint after 111 is actually 174. So, I mean, I guess you could put on FCR rings and amulets and everything else. You might be able to hit 174, but you're really just wasting other stats that you could pick up, mainly magic find and resistances. But just remember that when it comes to our traps, and attack speed is what affects your traps. And some people use burst of speed, but I'd like to use fade, because without fade, this is what my resistances look like in a hell difficulty game with this particular setup. So fade will give me my max resist and then some more damage reduction. Uh, Lightning damage you're doing with your lightning sentry, 1 to 8.6k, and that's your main ability. And then my secondary ability would be my shock web, and it's doing 1 to 3.4k damage. So you figure that in with the infinity pole arm, and it kills stuff. And I mean, it's different. Like with a lightning sorceress, you teleport and you shoot the lightning bolts directly from your character. With the traps in, you lay your traps, and each trap shoots 10 times. So that's each trap is doing 10 lightning bolts that can do up to 8.6k, and I believe you can lay 5 traps at a time. So that's 50 lightning bolts shooting at a pack of monsters or a boss. So do the math, and it's easy to see that that's doing a lot of damage. And it's survivability. I mean, if you like Vanilla thought, you don't even have to teleport into directly into his room. You could teleport on the outskirts, drop some lightning sentries, and or drop a death sentry to explode with corpse explosion, and go pick up your loot. I mean, you don't even have to try to survive his corpse explosion. Same thing with like the super unique boss packs in Act 5 that are always in the same spot. You just strategically drop your traps to where they're not even aggravated. They don't see you, and then it just kills them. And if you always put in a corpse explosion trap, it yeah, I mean the corpse explosion damage is 40 to 80% of the corpse's life. Like I said, I did a corpse explosion video, and I believe the corpse explosion from a necromancer is what, 20 to 100. I could be wrong, but again, the damage from a death sentry is 5,000 damage less, but the corpse explosion, that's the main thing. Like in bell runs, when you're killing the waves, like you kill the first 3 waves, And then when the fourth and fifth wave, well, usually the fourth one comes out, you drop like 2 death sentries. And I mean, it just there's no chance of you dying. I mean, it kind of like the best of both worlds. You're kind of like a corpse explosion necro plus a lightning sorceress, and it's kind of fun to play. It's different. It's different, but it's not different. You're a caster, but you're not a caster, and then you get to go fade and look like an an ethereal ninja. So why not? So this is like I said, this is my assassin. She's probably 6 or 7 years old, give or take a few. Level 90. That's usually my level cap that I like to reach. I don't have no desire to bell run till I'm 70 years old to hit level 99. Um, the level like I mean she's fixing the she'll be level 91 if I keep playing with her. Through Magic Finding, doing Chaos and Bell and all the other bosses. The the stat distribution, I mean, it's the same as any other character that I play or most people use. Enough strength for your gear, which would be, of course, your Monarch, 156 strength, and then everything else is vitality. Um, the gear, I mean, it's the same thing. Heart of the Oak and Mage Fist, Stone of Jordan, Raven Frost, Spiderweb Sash, Dust Shroud Enigma, Shaco with a P Topaz, a 2530 Maris. I believe that's a perfect Maris. Could be wrong, don't quote me. And then a Spirit Monarch, and that's 31% cast rate. And like I said, I'm trying to get to 111, so I did that with 40, 60, 80, 111 right here. So I did the job. Actually, I think, yeah, I have 111 FCR. I think the break point was 102. I don't know. I'm not looking at the chart right now. The boots, I have a pair of War Traps on. These are 41%. 50's the highest, but I'm happy with these. I got a few pairs of these loading around, and I think the highest percent I have is on my Lightning Source with 48%. And I would love to get a 50, but they just never drop. I got some low, like 34s and 36s somewhere in some of my mule accounts, but I mean that's your standard cookie cutter caster build. I mean, the Raven Frost could be switched out for another Stone of Jordan. Again, I'm only benefiting from. I mean, the 40 demand is nice and the cold absorb is nice, but it's not necessary. And the cannot be frozen is really not that necessary because you're not melee, you're not up and close. I mean, yeah, every once in a while you might get frozen like Bell. If you don't have that on Bell, it'll freeze you up. But the way you play your traps, you stay at a good distance, and it is what it is. But I typically have a Raven Frost on just about every character that I play at one point in time, and eventually I think I have like 6 or 7 SOJs spread around, maybe more. And I don't like I said I don't need to go and switch it over to this character because this one it kills quick enough. And like I said, I like having cannot be frozen. You could get by with you could take the topaz out and put a shamroon in there, but I mean it's not necessary. I think that's a little overkill. Like in my smiter, I just finished up re revamping my a smiter I built like 4 ladders ago or 3 ladders ago, and I actually put a sham in the Galoom's face. That way I had 2 BKs on, and I'll show you that in another video. I mean, these builds have been around. This is nothing groundbreaking. I mean, the game's so old, but I just figured I would just show everybody, my builds. It's kind of like you're just showing off your trophies. I mean, I have a lot of respect and love for this game, the way it was made. It's just they did this one right, and I don't think they're ever going to recreate another game. I mean, Path of Exile's fun. I just stick to playing this and a few other titles, mainly Blizzard titles, but enough rambling on. Again, like on my Switch, I have a Istic Crystal Sword, and I know a lot of people don't have that laying around, but I mean, you play the game long enough, you just grind. You gotta grind. I mean, you gotta devote your life, throw your life away, and eventually you can obtain all these high runes and different gear. I mean, as far as like the stand, I mean, Shakos drop all the time. Traps don't drop all the time, but I mean, you can get them. And I mean, if you like I said, if you're grinding out, you're either gonna find them or you're gonna find some runes, a couple of ists like the maze fist. That's a common drop. Spiderweb sash not so common, but they do drop more than you think. The thing is, you gotta put your time in. I mean, if you're just logging in 3 times a week, grinding 20, 30 minutes, yeah, you might find some of this stuff, but you really got to grind it out. I mean, it's just a grind, and I mean that's just you don't like grindy games, and you're just gonna be a casual, and you, I mean, there's other like rare options, gear choices, claws. I mean, you don't have to have all this stuff. I mean, but this is like in game, and whenever I play a game, I'm trying to get in game. That's just me. That's how I operate. So I have a 1719 Assassin Tor 1211 8 Anilius, uh, 39 Geeds, and then there's 2 trap Grand Charms that I've picked up along the way. Um, as you can see, my lightning trap damage is 8.6. You take away one, it drops down to 8.2. So you see the math. It's like an additional 400 damage. And then I have an assortment of small charms: five, a five, a seven, a seven, a seven, a seven, a six, a five. I think overall my magic find is 570, 573. If I don't switch over, I only have about 290, 293, something like that. But it's with the way you drop your traps, especially on like your bosses, Diablo, Bell, Mephisto, Andy, and even like super uniques. I mean, you pay attention to the health bar of the thing you're trying to kill, and you time it just right at the last split second. You switch over, and you just add that into your magic find. And I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't have that laying around. You could go with an Alibaba, like an Alibaba, even without it. I got like my hammer that actually has an isted Alibaba, but you don't have to put an ist in it. I mean, an Alibaba and a rhyme shield. If you don't want to do weapon switch, and some people don't like weapon switch. Like on my lightning sources, I don't do a weapon switch. I just feel that sometimes I don't feel like doing that. But it's perfect combination with the traps in the way you drop your traps and you just sit back and let them strategically take down your victim. I said victim, but you know what I mean. So that's the gear. I mean the stat points. I mean it's you max out your lightning sentry, and it gets 12, 12, 12 from shot, charged, and death. So you would max these out, max these out, max these out, and then of course that's a 1 point prerequisite if that's how you say it. Fire blast does benefit your death sentry benefits from fire blast, 1 shot per 3 levels. So, and then I believe your charged bolt sentry, if you choose to use it, it actually gets 6 lightning damage. But I've never used a charged bolt sentry. I'm sure there's, I mean, it's maxed out. All the synergies are maxed out with the exception of fire blast. So I mean, I'm sure it would be just like a charged bolter, it's just maybe not as quick. If you're not fortunate enough and you don't have an infinity, you could actually, instead of pumping up a shadow warrior or a shadow master, you could finish maxing out your fire blast, because at one point I didn't have an infinity for this character. So for all your lightning immunes, I had fire blast, and I mean at level 21 is doing 1000, but I believe my fire blast was doing like almost 4000 damage. Like I said, it gets damage bonuses from your lightning traps, and then like I said, you just put 1 point here and 1 point here, and it will actually do enough damage to kill the lightning immunities. It's a slower process, but either you without an infinity, you just avoid lightning immunes, which can take away killing some areas in the game. So fire blast is always an option, but like I said, max out your lightning sentry, death sentry, charge bolt, and shockwave. And shockwave, you'll see when I'm out in the field playing around, and you just throwing little lightning bolts around, and it adds to the damage. You don't need it. You don't even have to throw them, but it more damage, quicker killing times. So, like I said, you don't put any in martial arts tree. I have an actual kickstand that I play around with every once in a while. It's, in my personal opinion, a kickstand is one of the most complicated classes and builds to play around with. Um, it's fun. Like it's a kickstand. I use Dragon Talon and Dragon Flight. You can actually teleport without an Enigma with Dragonflight. You just got to have a monster to teleport into. You build it right, it's pretty powerful. It's almost kind of like a Zeal or Smiter in a way. I could be wrong. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, enough of that. Shadow disciplines. 1 point goes and everything to get to your Fade and your Shadow Warrior or Master. The like I said, burst of speed. Some people like to use burst of speed. If your resist are maxed out and you don't need Fade, then yeah, go with burst of speed. You run faster. Um, you lay your traps faster. But to me, I'm not max resist with my setup, so Fade is the best option for me. And then it gives a hidden damage reduction. Don't know the exact amount, but you got 10% DR on your helmet, and you got 8% on the Enigma, so that's 18. And like I said, if you're just getting 2 or 3 or 4 more percent DR, why not? When it comes to the Shadow Warrior or the Shadow Master, again, in my personal opinion, the Shadow Warrior is better for a trap sin because what the Shadow Warrior does is she utilizes whatever skills you have in your left and your right click. So, for example, if you leave teleport on, she's just going to throw shock webs. So you always got to remember to keep your lightning sentry when you're fighting. Now I don't know if my Shadow Warrior's trap damage and shockwave damage is the same as mine. I've never really looked into it. I just assume that it is. So if I'm throwing down 5 lightning sentries, then your Shadow Warrior's throwing down, I guess, 5 lightning sentries. So that's a 10 lightning sentries, each one shooting 5 times. It's a pretty lot of damage. The Shadow Warrior, Shadow Master, she just does what she wants. I mean, she's pretty powerful. She's kind of like a bear for a druid, but not as tanky. But she doesn't die, and she utilizes all the abilities. I mean, you never know what she's gonna do. I mean, she just casts this whatever, and she's pretty powerful. Like for a like on my kicks in when I'm playing around, I use a Shadow Warrior, Shadow Master. I keep getting them mixed up just because I'm not worried about trap damage because I'm not laying traps. So whatever you choose to do, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to, achieve overall amount of damage for quicker killing times. So I went with a Shadow Warrior. Just remember, if you're teleporting around, she's just gonna throw shockwave. So always remember when you're fighting to she's gonna use these two abilities. So that's the skill point. That's the stat point. Like I said, it's
Not
pretty
in
much
town.
pretty much common knowledge, cookie cutter stuff. The only difference that I do and others do, like I said, is between Fade and Burst of Speed and Shadow Warrior and Shadow Master. Everything else, is pretty much the same way. I mean, I think I've seen some people try to get the blade shield, but I'm not up close and personal killing stuff, and even if I was even on my kickstand, I don't waste the point to get to that. I've actually made a Blade Fury Assassin just playing around, but it didn't really do too well, and I just gave up on it. So that's the build. So let's go and kill some stuff. I mean, it's fun to watch. I'll do my typical Magic Find run, show you how it kills. Maybe we'll pick up a high rune or some dungos or something good on the way. So let's go ahead and get our, again, my keybinds are the same. My teleport's always on E. My armor or buff skill, which in this case is Fade, is always on X. And then, like I said, teleport on E. So my main skill would be lightning sentry. I keep that on D, and then I keep my death sentry on F. So everything's right there. And when I'm teleporting around, my ring finger's on shift, and I use my index finger to switch between my skills when I'm fighting, teleporting, and dropping traps. I always keep my talent portal on R. That's just the way I play. I take my weapon swap off of W because I just like it on the space bar. When I'm fighting, I hit the space bar with my thumb. That's just my way of playing. So let's get our shadow out and let's go kill our normal stuff. Start off, and me personally, I always start in Act 5 for whatever reason. As long as I've owned and played this game over the many different operating systems and computers, if I start in Act 1, 2, 3, or 4, when I use a waypoint to go anywhere in Act 5, it's like it does this huge lag spike, especially when you hit the waypoint, and it does it every time. So I just start in Act 5 just to avoid that lag spike. I don't know why it does it. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I would like to know if anybody else has ever experienced that. But I always start in Act 5. So let's redo our fade and let's go kill some stuff. As you can see, I mean, I teleported in, dropped my traps, and hope for the best. And we'll come down here. And again, with any character, when you're using a mercenary and you have a minion, when you teleport, it brings them, it stacks them right on top of you. So just remember that. Especially like when you're boss killing and you want your infinity aura to affect the boss, and like your mercenary is over there stuck behind a rock and a stump and a stick, acting like a you know what, just teleport back to where you're going. And like with Bale minions, I always try to keep my mercenary and minion in front of me to take the damage. So if they run off like that, I just teleport back and make them in the front of me. So let's go down here. Got some bramble mitts. Like I said, I always pick up my yellow gloves. Small charm. Some claws. Let's see, let's drop this. These claws, like I said, you pick up claws, they might have, so that's a 3-socket claw with Mind Blast. I mean, you need a 3-socket claw to make the Chaos rune work, but you're looking for a lot better mods than +2 to Mind Blast. But like I said, you don't have, I mean, I get in the habit of picking up all claws. Sometimes I don't mess with them. You just never know what you're going to find, but put this back down and pick up my bramble mitts, go back to town. And another thing to point out with an assassin, you don't need keys. An assassin can open a locked chest without having a stack of keys in their inventory. So that's good because Loa Kura's chest could be locked. Arcane Sanctuary chest at the end of the path can be locked. And you might come across Sparkly chest. And it says you could get 7% more magic find rather than having a stack of keys. So just remember that when you're playing. I wish they would just get rid of keys, but hey, that's one of the perks of being an assassin. So let's see if we got anything. 16 life, I mean, I'll put that away. I mean, it's not a 20. It's not a dual mod, but it's 16 life small charm. One of my builds might benefit from it. ED, Dex, Fire, nothing. Like I said, that's 16 life. I will put that in the inventory, and that'll go to my Zealer or Smiter, help him out with more life. Not that He doesn't need it, and I'm not dueling, but it's just fun. What is this over here? That's a 5% magic find. Huh. I'll send that away. As you can see, I stockpiling my keys over here. I found this the other day. This is a rare find. I think I found this like maybe 3 times in my career, but it's the Astron's Iron Ward Caduce, Cadius, however you want to say it, Caduceus. It's a paladin weapon, and it's very nice. Attack speed, +3 to combat skills. I think 4 is the best. 10 IAS. I know for a fact the enhanced damage and the bonus to attack rating is a very low roll. I don't know the highest, but I think that's towards the low end. And then it has 33% chance of crushing blow. So I mean, it's not an everyday drop, but if you're a smiter and you don't have a last wish or a grief, that's a pretty nice little combination right there. And I like to do that from time to time. Go and make a build without rune words and actually have just a straight unique rare weapon armor character because they still can kill. I mean, rune words were implemented, many years ago, but prior to rune words, we had to use these things. There wasn't no Heart of the Oaks. There was no enigmas. I mean, you had, Scolders, you had Viper Magi, and Leviathan and Templar's Might, Imperial's Might, things of that, Arcane Valor. You didn't have all these things. You didn't have Spirit Shields. You had to find different. You had rare shields and things used to be, in-game stuff. But like I said, I've only seen that drop a few times, so I'm saving it, and like I said, I'm gonna actually I got 2 smiters, and they're both decked out in in-game gear, Exiles and Crown of Ages and things of that nature. But I might take one and make him a unique rare smiter weapon armor build and see how long it takes him to kill the Tristram triplets. Probably won't be 45 seconds like I normally do with my smiter, but alright, so let's go. We'll go hit my area plateau. Get your buff back up. Rejuvenation. I see, like on the individual super uniques, I did the little quick weapon switch right over. Just, I mean, you can do that when you're killing champion packs and unique packs, or just, I mean, if you just want to teleport around and clear every zone, I mean, you can switch over. But I mainly just reserve my switching over for the standalone act bosses and super uniques that you come across, because these guys are always in the same spot. Threat Socket, Shank, Elders, Doc Foreign, they're always in the same spot. Alright, so let's go back to town, and let's go kill my good buddy Nilithot. Come on, Nilly, give me a D key. Again, as I always say, there's only 3 maps for this Halls of Pain. Just remember, you should know after you do it a while, when you teleport out of the waypoint room, you're either going to go teleport to the top right or teleport all the way down and to the left. So, which you can look at that. There's several people that put the maps up. And these maps, these static maps, if that's the right word, static maps might be available online somewhere. I don't know. Just playing the game, you eventually learn these maps. So let's see. So this, when you come out, like I said, the waypoints here, you're going to go straight down. Just come all the way down and then go to the left. And there you go. Come on, go down. There you go. Let's see. There's the portrait that I'm looking for. Let's kill these things just in case they drop something good. And I hate archers. I hate them with a passion. But there's the portrait that you're looking for. So Nilithot's going to be over here. Some gauntlets. We'll pick those up. I like to just I like to kill everything. I mean, the more you kill, the more stuff you get. So what I said, I'm gonna set my traps right here, and I shouldn't even have to go in there. I mean, they're killing stuff right now. I threw down some death sentries. They're not shooting, so I should have killed everything, and I did, except for this stuff over here. Those hail temperatures, I mean, they're physical immune, but they put that curse on it, it lowers your defense. And he's just stuck over there. I guess he's just glitched into the wall, so we'll leave him alone. Let's see, gauntlets, that's probably Saigons, and we got a rare ring. The only thing about killing Nilithok this way is Nilithok, if he drops a Grand Charm, those are one of the Grand Charms that you can re-roll with perfect gems and a chance of getting a +1 to a particular class and some other mods, preferably the life. And if you kill him the way I killed him, and a Grand Charm drops, you don't know if Nilithok or one of his minions dropped it, and then you don't want to waste your gems on re-rolling a charm that can't be, re-rolled into what you need. Diablo, Bale, and Nilithok is the three people, bosses, monsters, NPCs, whatever you want to call them, that can drop a Grand Charm to be re-rolled. But as you can see, I was way far away from danger, and I simply just set my traps right here. Like I said, I did some lightning sentries and some death sentries to blow up his stuff, and it just works like that. So just remember that it's a safer way. You can equip a Nature's Peace ring. Nature's Peace has slain monsters rest in peace, and I believe that's the mod that will prevent Nilithok from doing corpse explosion. So that's a ladder only ring. Ladder only ring. The Nature's Peace. And in my many years of playing this game, I've gotten two of them. One of them I keep in my inventory for my Magic Find Sorcerers, and the other one is somewhere deep inside of a mule's inventory. So let's get out of here. Go identify these gauntlets in that ring. See what we got. Go see Mala.
Good evening.
Let's see. IAS. Nope. Cash rate. Nope. I mean, if it's a level 6 requirement, so I mean, if you was twinking or leveling, that's not a bad deal for sorcerers. Put that with stealth, and that's pretty decent cash rate. But I don't need it. I don't level any more characters. If I do level a character, it's going to be on single player, or if I play the current ladder. And I set out this ladder. I played the 2016 November ladder. In fact, yeah, that was the last ladder I played, the November 2016 ladder. And I don't have the need to play every ladder. I've been playing this game consistently for the last 16, 17 years. I don't have to play every ladder. I have enough spirits and insights and infinities and fortitudes and things of that. Now I still need a pair of shadow dancers. The assassin boots. It has some of the best kick damage, and I forgot the other mods on there. It might even have +2 to martial arts or +2 to some. I don't know, but it's a shadow dancer meridian greaves. I believe that's what you call them, and they're ladder only. And I've never seen them. I've never seen them in a trade game. I've never seen them drop. I've only seen them on the Area Summit website. So, like I said, every once in a while, I will create a sorceress on the ladder and gear her up to the same way I gear every other caster up and progress and all that. But most of the time I play non-ladder just because I don't feel like starting over all the time. But again, that's a low level caster ring, but I don't need it. So let's see. I think I rambled on enough. We'll go kill Mephisto just to do it. I keep thinking I got my call to arms and I don't, so get my fade back up, and let's see. We got dolls. Well, that's one thing. Sometimes this waypoint and the entrance to Durance 3 are right by each other. And I mean, the rule of thumb that I always went by, come on now, get out of there, is you got, like, depending on the way that the waypoint is positioned, that's the way you want to travel as far as the perimeter. Sometimes that equation is totally wrong. As you, if you watched my first video about my lightning source, I teleported all over the freaking place until I finally found it. But like I said, if you got to, I don't know how to quote it to you so you know what I'm talking about. There's other videos and you could just Google it. But depending on the way the waypoint and the map is, you just follow the wall. And like I said, this one's right here, so you can't beat it. Yeah, they killed my Shadow Master warrior. Yeah, they're gonna be full plate mess. See, like, he's got lightning immune and physical immune. And they got lightning enchant. I ain't worried about that light plate armor. It ain't nothing worth getting. So he killed my mercenary. Wow. I mean, I could probably kill Mephisto without it, but I'm gonna go get him just because. See, that council, it just they spawn with that lightning enchant and physical immune and it's those are just one of the mobs. That and Travancore, I just stay away from them. You know, a Bliss Source is pretty good, and you can go in there with a Smiter or a Zealer and eat them alive. But when it comes to like just lightning damage characters, sometimes you just can't kill them. So let's drop my traps. Remember to do your weapon switch. Watch his health. Go ahead, switch over, and he's dead. And he dropped a gnarled staff. That's probably the salamander. Is that salamander? Let's see. Spire Lazarus. Huh? Back in the day, I mean, oh man, that was a good thing back in the day, but now it's just useless. It is useless. And see, the whole time I'm talking, my traps and my mercenary, they're just killing stuff. I mean, it's a no nonsense build. I mean, it's kind of like a necromancer summoner, but a lot faster. I mean, you could drop traps, talk on the phone, whatever. Run, make you a sandwich, and I mean, you might die if you go make a sandwich, but you get the point. You just drop your traps and hope for the best. And I always come over here to this armor stand. So I'm gonna drop these traps and just whatever. Y'all have a good day, you know. Everybody else does all my killing, and I don't have to worry about nothing. But I always hit these armor stands. You never know. Like, there's a Cuirass shield. You can get a lot of you know, lizards Cuirass shield. You can get a lot of non-magical paladin shields off of there. So if you're on the ladder and a non-magical 4-socket paladin with 45 resist drops, I mean, you make yourself a spirit. Or if a paladin shield with 45 resist with no sockets drop, you can take a chance in the Herodric Cube and get 4 sockets. Or heck, you can even make a 3-socket and make it Ancient's Pledge if the strength and all that and the level requirement, you can have like an elite, you know, freaking what, 60, 70 resist Ancient's Pledge. I mean, who doesn't want that? But I always hit these armor, like in Halls of Vault, in the Durance 3, Durance 2, these armor racks. The weapon racks over there, I guess you could hit that one too if you want it. See, like, physical and lightning, he's almost dead, but I don't know what's killing him. I mean, like, Mayfer Dragon Hand, immune to physical, lightning. So there's 2 of these. He's got stone skin, everything. I mean, he's slowly gonna die, but there he goes. I mean, but that's what I'm talking about. You get those mods on a super unique or just a unique character boss. You can. I think it was my corpse explosion that actually killed him. I blew up one of these ghoul lords, but wasting your time with it, wasting your time. So like I said, I can sit here and go and kill every boss. You get the idea. Uh, I told myself I was gonna try to keep this video at 15 minutes, but I failed on that one.
Not here.
But this is the lightning trap scene. I mean, it's just another build that is, when you gear it up, it's fun to play. It can kill every area of the game. with the infinity pole arm, and it's just fun. And like I said, I like lightning trap sins, lightning sorceresses, corpse explosion necros, a charged boltress, meaning a character, a sorcerer that utilizes the frozen orb and charged bolt. That's a fun build to play, a hybrid. And I don't play anything else. I mean, I've rolled and built druids and amazons and I don't really. Now, a barbarian. That's one. I made a fury barb and had two ethereal breath of the dying colossus swords on it, and fortitude, and stacked with combat charms, and I think I got a 1919 torch on it. It was fun to play. I'm just not a big melee character. Even like in World of Warcraft, I play caster classes. I just like magic and casters. And yes, a trap assassin is not using magic. They're using traps, but it's pretty much the same thing. So whatever floats your boat. Different strokes for different folks. Just whatever you feel like playing, play it. There's not a class in this game that if you build it right won't kill. There's just some classes that are suited better for magic finding, some classes that are suited better for uber killing, whatever you want to do. Uh, I'll take that back. I did make another barbarian. It was a magic find barbarian that utilized the skill find item. So you stack your magic find, and I mean you put like gold wrap, two perfect nagels, and chances and all that, and um, you killed everything, and if it drops something, good job, and if it don't, you pop their bodies and you get another chance at finding stuff. So I mean that's one of the best things. So just play around with your different builds and have fun. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.